guys, week 15, Broncos and Lions, and you didn't even have to wait until Sunday. It is the season of giving, and the NFL has gifted us with a Saturday night showdown, and it is going to be a good one. Dan Campbell, former Saints player and assistant coach in New Orleans, faces Sean Payton for the very first time as a head coach. And as the great Yoda has said, every secret the apprentice learns, he pays for dearly.
I love it.
Do I look like a Star Wars person? That was me today Googling. I was like, what are some good, like...
It rolled right off the tongue.
Like master student quotes and anything Yoda. I'm like, yeah. I like it. What's up, guys? So excited you guys can join us. You can hear in the background, the DNVR bar is absolutely popping right now. So if you have the time, come on down, come hang out with us. A lot of stuff going on. Nuggets, Avs, Broncos tonight on this Saturday night. I'm Alexis Perry, joined as always by the Super Bowl 50 champion Todd Davis and my favorite passenger princess, Zach Stevens. Guys, fill me in because the Christmas party last night. Look who we got. Mr. Lacroix in the building. What's up, my guy? What's the score? No, we haven't started yet. Welcome to the pregame show. What's up, my guy? Oh, no, we're a 6:15 start today. Absolutely love it. Was he at the Christmas party last night?
He was, yeah. I think
Everybody
so.
made it. Everybody. He didn't stop drinking since, apparently. Fill me in. How was it, guys? I'm clearly a little under the weather. That's why I sound like Max Crosby after inhaling a cigar. So please ignore me throughout this show. But yeah, fill me in on the Christmas party last night, guys.
It was great. As Todd was saying right before we started, he was like, I didn't realize how many shots we had.
Wow.
And that caught up.
Wow.
It was a good night. Played some beer pong.
Yeah.
Might have beat Zach and Henry.
I don't remember that.
And I may have beat Zach and his missus. I don't know what happened.
Remember that either.
It was a long night. It was a lot of fun. Man.
Is this hair? If you drank too much, is this hair of the dog today, or were you like good to go?
I'm rolling with the punches.
Absolutely rolling with the punches. And hopefully, so are the Broncos. They are on a roll right now, have won 7 of their last 8 games. And like I mentioned earlier, Dan Campbell, who knows Sean Payton well, he said earlier this week that this Broncos team is going to head into Detroit looking to embarrass them. So what would it take to prove Dan Campbell right this week?
To prove him right so that
we embarrass him.
That we embarrass him.
We embarrass him.
We have to run the ball well. We have to be able to execute as far as our ground game. I think that's key for us. Similar to them, I think everything kind of goes off of our ability to run the ball. Our play action pass, our deep shots to Cortland. Hopefully Jerry Jeudy comes through for a couple of big catches this week. But it's really all based upon our ability to run the ball. So that's key.
All based on the ability to run the ball. Could you even hear that?
No, I can barely hear you, Alexis, let alone Todd. This place is popping right now.
And it doesn't help, like I said, like at least 3 packs on the way in today for me. What will it take for this Broncos team to embarrass the Lions here tonight?
Did you say you were smoking cigs on the way here?
It sounds like I was. It sounds like I was. You know what? It would be, just don't listen to me this whole show. Just do your own thing. It serves me right after not listening to you last week on the post-game show, so it's okay. What are you feeling tonight? What's the key to success here for the Broncos to embarrass the Lions?
100% what Todd said, and to embarrass them, it's hitting on a couple of these deep shots that the Broncos were able to do last week thanks to Cortland Sutton's just incredible ability to make one-handed catches, but they weren't able to do it the week before, and that's why they lost the game, is because they weren't able to connect on those couple of shots that they were able to take to beat the Lions. It's exactly what Todd said in terms of running the ball, stopping the run, and I honestly think the thing that's most important is stopping the run, because they are so good at running the ball, the Lions are, and I think they're going to stick to the run. They're going to try to establish dominance. I was watching one drive of the Colts game, and they ran the ball like 10 straight times, and the Steelers couldn't do anything. That's so demoralizing. I think that's what the Lions are going to try to do, and if the Broncos are able to stop them, then I think they'll be able to win. If not, you might see like 15 straight runs from the Detroit Lions tonight.
All right, Broncos still sitting in 9th in the AFC with a win tonight. The NFL has the Broncos playoff hopes at 67%. With a loss, that falls to 32%. That 35% swing is the largest of any of the 4 AFC bubble teams right now. So to say, yeah, okay, of course they need to win down the stretch. That's obvious. But why even more so here tonight, Todd?
Because it means so much to the standings in the AFC, just their record as a whole. So this is an important game for them. I think they control their own destiny, and this is the biggest game they have left on their schedule. If they can win this one, I'm not scared for us to, take on any opponent the rest of our schedule. So this is a huge game for the team. The guys know it. The guys are ready. They're prepared, and they're going to take on that Dan Campbell mentality.
Yeah.
Hopefully the Broncos are biting off some kneecaps.
For sure. The Vikings didn't help the Broncos today, unfortunately.
Yeah.
Man.
Yeah,
Tell us
so
about the playoff
close.
picture. Yeah.
But with the Colts winning and the Steelers losing, if the Broncos win tonight, they'll be in the 7th seed for at least tonight. And
That's
then
nice.
Some good news is you don't like injuries to happen, but C.J. Stroud is not playing for the Texans tomorrow. So if the Texans win tomorrow, even if the Broncos win, the Texans will jump the Broncos. Broncos will be the 8th seed. But I don't think they're going to win without C.J. Stroud.
Why, because Case Keenum's their starting
exactly.
quarterback? We know what that's like around
here. So I think if the Broncos win tonight, they'll be a playoff spot after this weekend.
Okay. So, like we know, the Broncos, they are not just, they want a playoff spot, of course. However, they are looking for the AFC West crown. A wild card spot isn't good enough for this team right now. They want the crown. You guys talked to Josie Jewell and Alex Singleton earlier this week. What did they tell you guys about just kind of the mindset that shifted for this team and where they're at right now heading down the stretch?
Well, their mindset is they want it all or nothing. I mean, even in my hot take, I said that they're going to go to Miami and beat the Dolphins is like their way to kind of like respond from that Sunday game. He's like, what do you mean? It's not going to be a home game? Like, he's expecting to have home games in the playoffs. So their mindset has definitely switched. This team they want it all, man. And so they're going for it. They have faith in themselves, and they're confident right now. So sky's the limit if they can get this win.
Yeah, well, clearly you don't have confidence in them.
Well, I do.
You just think they're going to make the playoffs, but not a home playoff game.
I think making the playoffs is confidence. You know what I'm saying?
No, you're definitely. I mean, you've been more confident in this team than anyone. You said Vance was going to be back when they were 1-5.
Literally. What was your biggest takeaway from the Josie Jewell Alex Singleton conversation earlier this week?
Earmuffs. Fuck the call, get the ball. Now, Alex was joking about that, but that's what it's been for this defense, is getting the ball, doing anything they can to go and get the football, and just the confidence that these guys are playing with. Like, I was feeling it. I was ready for the game on Tuesday after talking to them, and I'm like, wait, we still got 4 more days to go. And I think that's so infectious. I think in that locker room, specifically on the defensive side of the ball, they're playing with so much confidence and juice and swagger and energy. And that's why I think that it's not just like a 1-week thing for them. And that's why they've been able to do it for so long, because they truly, truly believe.
Speaking of belief, do you believe the Broncos can take the AFC West crown? They're still 1 game behind Kansas City, who plays the Patriots tomorrow at 11, so that's an immediate win. And then really shows just how important this game is here tonight if they want to stay in that race.
And I think you said it. I think the Broncos can do what they need to do to get the AFC West, but I just think the Chiefs have such an easy path that's why I don't see it happening. It's not because of the Broncos, it's because of the Chiefs.
Yep. The Broncos are great, man. It's not us. If there was any other way that we could control getting the AFC West, I think we could do it, but I think it's kind of out of our hands.
Kind of out of our hands.
And that's what you don't want to have, like, towards the end of the season. Like, I love that the Broncos control their own destiny, and that they're not like just sitting at home waiting for the Steelers have to lose this next 2 games for them to have a shot. Like, they really can just win and get in.
Yep. Okay, the Lions are the final team on the Broncos schedule with a winning record. Currently number 3 seed in the NFC with a 2-game lead in the NFC North. But they've been pretty unpredictable lately, really since Week 10, losing to the Packers and Bears, while also giving up 26-plus points per game. So, guys, tell me, what is the current state of this Lions defense that Russell Wilson and this offense is facing tonight?
Well, Zach, you mentioned earlier, like, one thing we need to do to embarrass them is hit the deep shots, and the deep shots have definitely been open. Their back end is having some troubles with communication. They haven't been able to stop the run the same way they had to start the year. Originally a pretty good group, but as of late, giving up a lot of over 100-yard games. So they have a lot of mental errors and mistakes going on all throughout their defense. So tonight we need to take advantage of them and take some deep shots for sure.
Yeah, 100%. And their run defense averages out to be like an okay run defense on the season, but not the past 4 games. They've given up 180 yards on the ground, 104, 114,
Damn.
and 142. So they're averaging like 140 yards per game given up on the ground. That's music to the Broncos, because the Broncos don't want to face a team that can shut the run down but give up the pass. That's not really the Broncos' game. So the Lions, despite being a really good team, the Broncos match up well with them on the defensive side.
Yeah, Aleem McNeil, their defensive tackle, he's obviously been out. He's on IR. Should be back like week 18 for them, but you can tell that is impacting that defensive front there for the Lions.
Point.
And they really are shooting themselves in the foot on both sides of the ball. So let's switch over to the offense a little bit. What's the Achilles heel of this Lions offense that this Denver defense can really exploit? And if it rhymes with Schmear and Schmoff, then I would not be shocked.
Well, Jared's been off is what Jared Goff has been recently. And it's turnovers, and that's, again, just perfect for the Broncos. Jared Goff last week, 2 interceptions, and then you can also get the ball from these guys. So that is the key to the Broncos' success, whoever they play, but especially tonight. Win the turnover battle, the Broncos will win this game. Lose it, and that could mean that the Lions are running for 200 yards on you.
Yeah, you're right, Zach. Turnovers are key. The last 4 games have had 9 turnovers. If we can just get 2 more tonight, I think that'll be the extra edge that we need to win this game. So turnovers are key.
Yeah.
First and foremost, got to get the ball away from Jared Goff. And it looks like he wants to give it away. So we'll take the presents. Getting close to Christmas.
Yes.
We're taking all the presents we can get.
Okay, I know one guy who is probably beyond frustrated that he can't get after Jared Goff here tonight is Nick Bonito. He actually generated 14 unblocked pressures this season, 4 more than any other edge defender. He's ruled out obviously of this game with a knee injury, which just sucks.
Yeah.
Like, he was on a roll. Did he have a sack last week?
He
did. He contribute to one.
Yeah.
He did have a sack last week. I think he had. What is it?
60 flat sacks. It's hard to remember all of them.
Everybody
Exactly. But I have a feeling if the Broncos kind of take what they did last week, dial up the blitz a little bit, they're going to be able to still get after Jared Goff pretty well. Do you think that the blitz is going to be something that Vance Joseph goes back to up against Jared Goff, who's obviously kind of one of those quick-hitting quarterbacks? He likes those short passes, kind of like Russ.
Yeah, we definitely have to get after him and make him uncomfortable. The biggest thing is stopping the run. Once we can do that, then we can make them one-dimensional and really get after him. The thing I'm kind of nervous about is a lot of those like exotic blitzes that we have been running, they require, maybe 3 or 4 outside linebackers on the field at once. And it required Nick Bonito and it required Drew Sanders, but Drew Sanders is more of a coverage guy. So now Drew has to step in and be the blitzer. And not saying that he can't do it, we just didn't really see him in that role the last couple of weeks. But they're going to need him to kind of apply the same kind of pressure and find those gaps that Nick Bonito has. So it's going to be an interesting game in that regard as far as like how we really attack him with blitzes.
Yeah, and actually maybe the biggest takeaway from having Alex and Josie here was they admitted Drew Sanders is no longer an inside linebacker. He's an outside linebacker, not in our room anymore. And that's not something Sean Payton has admitted to. So that was actually fascinating. But you're right. It's going to be a big day for Drew Sanders to step up. He's going to get a lot of playing time, and we'll get to see just how comfortable he's getting at outside linebacker.
Jared Goff's passer rating drops by over 50 when he is pressured this season, which is pretty interesting. Both of his interceptions last week against Chicago came under pressure. And the Broncos defense, it has a 36.4 pressure percentage in 2023, which is good for middle of the pack. But I feel like that number, if we were just taking the past few weeks, would be way
Totally
higher.
agree.
Okay, let's move on to some of Jared Goff's weapons. Amon-Ra St. Brown. As a whole, having an amazing season. Coming off a pretty rough game last week against the Bears. Him and Sam Laporta, they were combined targeted 15 times, had just 5 catches.
Wow.
How do you see this Denver defense almost taking a page out of the Bears book, which I never thought I would say, and take those guys out of the game?
It was a combination of the Bears being in tight coverage, but also there was a couple of drops last week that they don't want to repeat again this week. I think it's going to be a good week for us, a good matchup. I don't think they'll target St. Brown when he's on Pat's side, but I think he's on another side. Then they'll maybe give him some targets then. One of the biggest matchups is Laporta versus my 2 inside guys. I think we have great coverage backers, but I think they're definitely going to get tested tonight, and that's going to be Jared Goff's outlet. When we pressure him, he knows that we're going to pressure a lot. He's going to look to his tight end first. It's the closest option. It's the quickest pass. I think they're going to get pressured a lot, and they have to show up. They got to be ready to cover him.
Okay, what's your thoughts? Pat Surtain on St. Brown all night?
Easy. Please don't make it complicated. Do that. But then it comes down to how are you going to cover Sam Laporta. But then, because you have Pat Surtain, you can essentially say, take St. Brown out of the game, Pat. Then you can use your other 10 guys to scheme up how to slow down Sam Laporta. And just a key thing for, especially with the Broncos offense, it's not a very explosive offense. It's just going to be limiting the line's ability to have explosive plays. So it's okay if Laporta has 7 catches for 49 yards. That's totally fine. Same with St. Brown. Just don't let these guys get behind you. And the Broncos defense has done such a good job since Miami of really limiting those explosive plays.
Sam Laporta, watching his film, he's just a really good reminder of how nice it is to have a consistent tight end to go to. And like I mentioned last week on the postgame show, Sean Payton nor Russell Wilson have really ever had a season where they didn't have a dynamic tight end that they can go to. We thought for a moment earlier this week that it was going to be Greg Dulcich back this week. However, he did not practice Thursday with a foot and hamstring injury. As I am the biggest Greg Dulcich fan, we all remember what he did in London. Should I just get over it? Should I just stop getting my hopes up to see Greg Dulcich in a game?
Yep. Unfortunately. Unfortunately. And it's kind of like KJ Hamler. Like, how many times does he have to continue to get injured for us to just be like, man, can't count on him? And that's kind of where I'm at. Anything you get from Greg Dulcich moving forward this year, next year is just going to be a bonus. But I don't think the Broncos can count on him now. And the really unfortunate thing is he practiced Wednesday, full participant with that hamstring injury. Thursday, he practiced again, and then Friday, he didn't practice with a new injury. A foot injury popped up, and it's just like, man, I feel so bad for Greg, because as Sean said, he's flown all around the country to see every hamstring specialist. He gets his hamstring in check, and then a foot injury pops up, and he wasn't able to practice at all.
It reminds me of earlier in the year when Jerry Jeudy went out with a hamstring injury, and everybody thought we were crazy for like doubting his timetable. I mean, how many times has Greg Dulcich's timetable been pushed back? They are such finicky injuries. But Todd, how have you seen kind of the lack of like a really dynamic tight end impact this Broncos offense this season?
You know, I gotta be honest, man. I like what the tight ends are doing right now.
Big Lucas Kroll guy, huh?
Yeah, they're doing great in run blocking, great in pass protection. They catch the ball when it's thrown to them. They're finding a way to get into the end zone. Yeah, they're not breaking 4 tackles and getting 50 yards on a pop, but they're doing exactly what's needed of them, and I think they're doing a great job with it. So love Greg Dulcich. I think he's always going to be a good tight end, a good receiving tight end. But for where we are right now, I feel really confident about the way this tight end room is playing.
Yeah, I agree. Especially last week, I thought that was the first time we really saw both those guys flash, and it was really nice to see. Speaking of injuries, PJ Locke, he was questionable with the neck injury heading into this one. He's going to play tonight.
Huge. Yeah.
How does having PJ Locke and not having to adjust without having him help this defense here tonight?
It's got to be huge for Vance Joseph, because this is a guy that he 100% trusts. PJ Locke. If he didn't have PJ Locke, then he'd be counting on DTY JL Skinner. JL Skinner's inactive today. Just shows you like how borderline he is of being ready to play in the NFL right now. And so if you were counting on him to have to play a big role, well then Vance probably wouldn't be able to be as aggressive with his blitzes and his calls. And that's what the Broncos live on, is being able to be aggressive. And PJ Locke, first safety in Broncos history with a sack in back-to-back games. He can make it a 4th tonight, and that's just, he's such a weapon for the Broncos.
He's a dog.
Yeah, no, he's a big-time dog, and just his veteran leadership that he brings is going to bode very well for this Broncos defense. It's always good to have your veterans, your starters out there, you guys that you know who they are, that they can make plays, because anytime a young guy comes in, you never truly know. You always hope for the best, but you never really know how this young guy's going to perform under the lights. If he's going to get starstruck playing against Jared Goff in Ford Stadium, or if he's going to come ready to play. So it's always best to have the guys that you know you're sure about in the game.
Okay, we will get to what all of this means in a game of tug of war here in just a little bit. But first, I got to tell you guys about our friends over at Prize Picks. They are the largest daily fantasy sports platform in North America, and they are the easiest and most exciting way to play daily fantasy sports because it's just you against the numbers. Instead of battling thousands of other players, including pros and sharks, you pick more than or less than on 2 to 6 player stat projections and then just watch the winnings roll in. This is super, super cool. It's really the most fun that I've had, winning up to 25 times more of my money this season. And it's interesting because you can combine projections across football and basketball. So from the specials leagues, this is really, really cool. A league created specifically for combo projections that include 2 or more players from different sports or leagues. For example, Jamal Murray and Courtland Sutton at a 10.5 combo of 3 points made and receptions. Like, how
Love
cool
that.
is this?
That's so cool, yeah.
It's totally different than anything I've done. I checked it out today, and I'm like, this is actually fun.
Yeah, especially when you have the Nuggets and the Broncos playing tonight.
Yep, exactly. Quick withdrawals, easy gameplay. They have an enormous selection of players and stat types of how you can make your prize picks, the #1 daily fantasy sports app. You guys, go to prizepicks.com/DNVR. Use the code DNVR for a first deposit match up to $100. $100. That's incredible. PrizePicks.com/DNVR. Use code DNVR, and that is daily fantasy sports made easy. That read made me kind of hungry.
Oh, for some Snarf sandwiches?
Snarfs. Yeah.
Snarfs is so incredible. I love their spicy mix that they have that you put on their sandwiches. And Snarfs is just a go-to. Been a go-to. They had one on the DU campus, so it's been a go-to for me for like 10 or 15 years now. Love Snarfs. You got to check them out. Do we have a code for Snarfs?
I think
there is a code actually for Snarfs, so check out Snarfs.
It's not in my read, but I'm sure it is. Yeah, can you look that up? Can you see if we have a Snarfs code? I'm sure it would be.
You know what?
DNVR.
Just try.
Let's
Go
bust
on
down
to
the door.
Punch it
Bah,
in.
DNVR sent me.
Well, I know if you order online for delivery, if you join the rewards program online, there's a lot of really cool stuff that you can get if you join them online.
It's a great point.
Yeah,
great
do
point.
that.
So check out our friends over at Snarf's perfect dinner option for tonight.
And what goes good with Snarf is some Breckenridge Brewery. Breck Brew has a beer for any occasion, and there's no better way to watch a game than having some Breck Brew. They've been doing it for over 33 years and have some really, really phenomenal beer. Right here at the Fun Slinger, we have the Broncos Country Pale Ale on set, which is the beer of the month here at the bar. They have a lot of other ones that you should try. The Avalanche Amber Ale, the Mile High City, the Good Company Hard Seltzer. Check out our friends at Breck Brew at breckbrew.com for their beer locator to find the Breck Brew near you.
You guys, listen to this before we get to Tug of War. Report. Hank just sent this to me. The Lions have been trolling Russell Wilson with nothing but future songs during his pregame warm-ups at Ford Field for 25 straight minutes. They finally changed the music when Wilson walked off the field.
Poking the bear. I mean, that could, that's only going to fire him up even more.
I think it's going to fire him up. I think it should.
Or, does he have headphones on, noise canceling? Does he even hear that? You know what I mean?
He should. I don't know, but if it's pregame, then everybody has on their helmets. He's hearing all of it.
Shoot, you're right. This isn't pre-pregame. This is pregame.
Yeah.
Dang.
No,
I was gonna say.
No, I can't.
No,
he can't rock to any.
No, absolutely
All future got deleted.
No.
And then what it is, it depends on what song they're playing because in certain songs he makes comments. There's he says his name oh yeah, I'm hot.
He says Russ's name?
Oh yeah.
There's that much beef between them?
Huh? Oh,
I'm like,
deep.
he takes care of his son.
It's deeper than that. It's deeper than rap. But but yeah, so I hope he's fired up. It would fire me up.
Okay, so it would do the opposite. It wouldn't get in your head. It would fire you up. That's, classic. We've all seen video of Todd being fired up. That was just over a snow game too. Okay, let's get into Tug of War. We're going to start with when the Broncos pass. Courtland Sutton, like we all know, he's having the best season of any wide receiver in the league outside of Tyreek Hill. The Lions have allowed 15 receiving touchdowns to wide receivers in 2023. That's the third most in the league. Who do you guys have? Who has the edge here when the Broncos are passing tonight?
Yeah, they're like a 25th ranked passing defense.
Yeah.
And they've definitely given up a lot of deep shots. This last week, I think anytime you have Courtland Sutton, who that's his bread and butter, and that's your weak spot. I'm going to say we have the advantage on that, and I think Russ is doing a great job of getting the ball out of his hands, finding his guys downfield, whether it's the tight ends, running backs, wide receivers. I think we have an edge when it comes to passing the ball.
Yeah, and then especially what you said about Courtland and how good he is at getting touchdowns and how bad they are at stopping him. I'll give Broncos the edge there.
Yeah.
Okay, Russ, we'll have to keep an eye out for Alex. What is it, Anzalone?
Yeah.
Who he looks like is it a superhero? That long blonde hair.
Yeah.
What's his name? Alex Anzalone.
Thor?
Yeah. Thank you. He looks exactly like Thor. I saw his headshot today and I was like, damn, has he been cast in a movie recently?
That's
he's
a
also
good comp to have. I would appreciate that if I were him.
Somebody just saw Zach damn.
Who is your doppelganger?
Who is my doppelganger? I don't know, but I was at the grocery store today, and this old man goes, "Did you get a haircut?" And I'm like, "Yeah, a couple of days ago." And he says, "You should sue your hair cutter." I was like, oh wow,
my God.
That's offensive. Wow.
Just a total stranger?
A total stranger, no idea. And so I just laughed and walked away and was like, is it that bad, really?
No,
You should
it's
have Draymond
iconic.
Green them just
Ran away with his cart.
Exactly.
Yeah, exactly.
Exactly.
Todd, who's your doppelganger?
I
Do
don't
you have
know.
one?
I think it's hard to say who you look like.
True.
I think you need other people to tell you because I think we all have a weird perception of who we think we look like in the mirror. So I don't know.
Yeah, put that in the comments, folks. Who is Todd Davis's doppelganger?
Oh my gosh.
I don't think I have one. I don't think I have one. I'm waiting for somebody to give me one, so if they can. Okay, so Thor, best off-ball linebacker in the league right now. He's generated 19 quarterback pressures this season. So that offensive line, they're going to have to look alive.
Yep.
And they're also going to have to look alive during when the Broncos run. But like we all know, Javonte Williams, he has gained 417 rushing yards after contact since week 6. 5th amongst all running backs. Lions, 9th best run defense, giving up 97 yards on average. However, like you mentioned a little bit earlier, been really bad lately. So I'm going to give this one to the Broncos. What do you think?
I'm with you, Broncos.
Broncos tug of war?
I'm rocking. We're all on the same page. It's going to be a good challenge for them. I think it's going to be a good head-to-head battle. And it's funny because for this Lions defense, they kind of get to go up essentially to what they've been practicing against since training camp.
Yeah.
A team that likes to run the ball, teams like to play action. So we'll see how prepared they are to go against it. But it'll be a good challenge for the Broncos.
Yeah.
I don't know why, but it's deeper than rap. Just keeps replaying in my head right now. It's deeper than rap. Michael B. Jordan.
I'll take it.
I like that. Okay, when the Lions pass, like we mentioned, Jared Goff has as many interceptions in his last 4 games than he did in the first 9 games of the season. He really fell off. I don't know what happened to Jared Goff, but I like it. That means he is right for the picking tonight, and I think these boys are going to be all over these receivers.
Yeah, and because you have Pat Surtain, I'm going to give this to the Broncos, but what does scare me is just how deep the Lions are. 5 different guys with 5 different guys with 5 or more touchdowns on the season outside of their quarterback. So it's not just St. Brown and Laporte. You got to keep an eye on everyone.
I'm actually going to look at the entire season, and I'm actually going to give it to the Lions. I think if you look at what we've done recently as a team, we have a better defense. What they've done recently as an offense is not as good, but over the course of the year, they've been a pretty good offense. I think Jared Goff is top 10 in the league as far as passing yards and touchdowns, so he's doing a great job right now, and so I'm going to give it to the Lions. They're doing pretty well.
Yeah, him and Russ are pretty similar in the stat columns, really, for their entire seasons. But for what it's worth, the Broncos secondary, they're going to have to keep an eye out for Laporta because he has ran 115 routes from wide alignment this season. That is the most of tight ends.
Wow.
What kind of challenge does that pose for a defense?
It's challenging because it can make you predictable, and it allows the team to know whether you're in man or zone very quickly. And then also, when you have a very good tight end in space against a linebacker, usually that's the kind of matchup that teams want to favor because usually you have space. And then also when you get a smaller guy like a DB, they want that same matchup because now you got a big body tight end who can go up and get the ball and usually will win against a small defender. So it's very, very tough. It's what the Patriots used to do with Gronk back in the day. You used to line them up wide, take those deep shots, and really like utilize the matchups that created.
Okay, let's take a look at when the Lions run. David Montgomery, he's a little bit more consistent. Jahmyr Gibbs, he's a little bit more explosive.
Yeah.
They really do have a nice thunder and lightning combination there for their rushing attack. Last week, they're probably feeling pretty confident. Both of them had 66-yard games, but Denver defense, are they getting better against the run? Possibly?
Yeah, a little bit, but I have to go Lions here just because they are so freaking good. Both of their running backs have more rushing yards than Javonte Williams, which is crazy because Javonte's had a good season. They've used him a lot, and both of their running backs have more rushing yards than Javonte.
Yeah, and so I'm going to go with the Lions as well. I always love when we get tested as a team or as a unit, and so this will be a good test for the Broncos. I think the Broncos haven't been tested at a team trying to run the ball consistently. I think a lot of teams have tried to throw against the Broncos and haven't had much success, so this will be a good challenge. But the Lions have a great running game. Yeah,
the Broncos defense has allowed more than 37% of opposing runs to gain more than what were expected according to Next Gen Stats. So
you are bringing stats tonight.
I know. I took some time this morning with my coffee. I was kind of feeling, like I said, I've been feeling a little crummy, so I was able to lock in for much of my day to prep for this, and I found some really fun numbers. Next Gen Stats had a ton of good stuff today. So yeah, obviously it's the Lions. Did you hear that one? Yeah, you got us. Okay, special teams, guys. Marvin Mims, that's my guy. I give it to the Broncos.
Yep, and I'm going because of Marvin Mims, number one punt return game in the NFL, number one kick return game in the NFL. Give me the Broncos.
Let's do it. I'm with it.
Okay, coaching. This is the one that I wanted to get to. So who has the advantage? Is it the master or is it the student? Todd?
I think it's the master still.
Okay.
You know, at some point, Dan Campbell will become better than Sean Payton because Sean Payton has to retire. But until that day, I think Sean Payton will be the master. What he's done with this team is nothing short masterful, and I think he has the edge on him right now.
Okay, really quick, let's get to James Palmer coming at us from Boston. I think he's going to be there for that game tomorrow. Let's see what he has to say about this one. Apparently he was muted. I will say I was able to see that earlier, and what he was talking about was Brian Branch and Jaquan McMillan, and just the importance really of that slot corner position and just kind of how it's evolving. Those guys aren't getting paid quite yet, but they will be. I think that's going to be a really important position to watch here tonight, Todd.
I think so too. I think it's just, the NFL is a copycat league. I think just over time, they were finding out that usually the slot corner was not the best corner on the field.
Yeah.
So teams were sticking their best route runner in the slot and then would allow him to get open and find ways to make big plays. But now you got guys like Chris Harris, J Mac that are coming in and making the slot corner really, really a staple in this league. And so it'll be a good matchup tonight against J Mac and those receivers. So I think we'll come out with a win.
Who wins this matchup between Jerry Jeudy and Brian Branch?
They played a lot against each other, right?
Well, he's a rookie.
Okay, so maybe he was 1 year removed.
Yeah. Or two,
the Alabama blood. I think Jerry Jeudy. I don't think he's not guardable, and that's the sad thing about watching the tape is like nobody can stick with him. It's just a matter of him. Russ finding him and then, him catching the ball when Russ does. But as far as being one-on-one, this is RK walking through the shot real quick. As far as being one-on-one, I think he's unguardable.
People just don't know we're live.
I know. Like, do we need one of those, live signs? Do we not look live to you guys? Okay, before we get out of here, I just have to see Area 51 if you have any highly classified intel from today
I
or
did
this
have a
week.
little bit of intel, and it was just about the ability of Jared Goff against pressure. And you mentioned that he's not very good against pressure, and the Broncos defense wants to affect him and make him be on the move. They want him thinking a lot. They want him moving out the pocket. So, of course, they want to get home, but more than that, they want to collapse the whole side of the offense, so just that he has to move, because he has trouble when he's not able to sit in the pocket and he's not able to get comfortable. So they're definitely going to do a lot to affect him today. And then also on the defensive side of the ball, on their defense, they're going to make Hutchinson think. They're going to run at him. They're going to zone read at him. They're going to make him slow down his game. He's still a young player. They're going to allow for him to, or not allow him to get comfortable. They want him thinking as much as possible.
I like that. I like that. Zach, any final thoughts before we get out of here? Maybe about the Denver DNVR boosted anytime touchdown scorer from our friends at Bet365?
Wait, what is it? What's the boost?
So the boost, everybody listen up this time. The boost tonight, Courtland Sutton plus 200 anytime touchdown scorer.
Boom, love it. Absolutely.
Is that not ridiculous? I can't even.
And it hit last week.
It hit last week.
Last week it was Broncos to win plus Courtland Sutton score.
Yep.
Boom, had it.
Yep. Okay, so head on over to Bet365, you guys. Get on this one. The Courtland Sutton DNVR boosted anytime touchdown scorer. Sign up with Bet365. Use our code DNVR365 to get it $150 in free bonus bet. We got it all in. Somehow.
Let's go.
Somehow.
Let's go.
Can you believe it? Guys, final score prediction quickly.
30-20 Broncos.
Would you say?
24-20 Broncos.
I can't remember what I said earlier this week. I think it was like 21-17. But we all have the
26.
Broncos this week. Let's go. It's game time, baby. We will see you guys for the post-game show. Thanks for hanging with us.
We all silly like the mayor.